Today's story is Rocco. Rocco appears with a family of deer. Written by Diana D'Alessio Brooks. On a crisp autumn day just before Thanksgiving, neighbors walked arm in arm looking for a family's missing doggie. "Rocco, Rocco," were the echoing cries heard from the tree-lined streets of Albemarle. Everyone who knew Rocco loved Rocco, with his defining characteristics of a brown coat, white chest, and floppy ears. Sally and her brother Phil had been quite worried. As they had approached the breakfast table that morning, they had seen Rocco's doggy dish tucked under the table and still filled to the brim. Where could their doggie Rocco be, they whined. Why hadn't Rocco been here for his morning bowl of kibbles? Oh, why had Rocco disappeared during the night? Phil moaned. Now, the kitchen is where Mother always heard and listened to her children's worries. Rocco is not known to just aimlessly roam the neighborhood, consoled Mother. He should be back soon. The next morning, Mother stood near the stovetop, mixing yummy pancake batter for breakfast. If ever there was a time the children needed a treat, it was now, she muttered to herself as she prepared pancakes with blackberries to the side and honey dribbled on top. That afternoon, Sally waited restlessly on the front porch, hoping Rocco would return in time for the family's evening walk. As she played a game of jacks to distract her from her worries, she envisioned Rocco sitting on the porch next to her. Yes, he'll be back by tonight, she sighed. Besides, Rocco wouldn't want to miss another bedtime treat given before snuggling in each night. Fall had changed to winter and many days had passed. There was still no Rocco. Rocco is gone forever, the family lamented. One day, just as a dusting of snow began to gently cover the ground, there was a frantic knock at the door. It was a neighbor, claiming she had just sighted Rocco near the edge of the woods behind their homes. Hurry, hurry, he is probably still out there right now, begged the woman. Once again, the neighbors offered to help. Family and friends searched the backyards and abutting woods, calling for Rocco. But no Rocco. Now it was the Saturday evening right after Christmas when Phil and Sally were gazing out the kitchen window into their backyard. "Phil, look over there," shouted Sally. Surprisingly, they spotted Rocco peeking out from the wood's edge. They tiptoed onto the back deck and kept ever so still. They did not want to startle Rocco. Phil and Sally silently watched, and what they saw was something truly amazing. Rocco had peered out from the woods to seemingly check whether the streets were busy with cars. And once the traffic had slowed down, Rocco receded into the woods, only to reappear with a family of deer following behind. Rocco and the deer were then spotted prancing through the yard and across the street in search of food. Nipping at the bark of tree trunks is a deer's delight, Phil had remembered reading in a magazine. Oh yes, it is dusk and the deer are looking for food, whispered Sally. Remember, sometimes cars do not see the deer in the dimly lit streets. At twilight, cars can accidentally hit the deer. So, commented Phil, it seems Rocco protects the deer. I do hope they safely find enough to eat. Phil and Sally beamed with pride as they thought about how the deer had trusted and relied on Rocco to safely guide them. Sally and Phil realized Rocco had not been aimlessly roaming around. He had simply ventured out into the world only to find something very important to do. Rocco needed to be with the deer to keep them safe. But Dad, will Rocco ever choose to live home again? Probed Phil. Do not be sad, my children. Rocco is choosing to live in the woods. It is where he belongs now, announced Father. Rocco is not coming home because, well, he wants to be useful. He wants to be helpful. He has become socially responsible, explained Father. Social responsibility is when one does something for the welfare and good of others. Rocco is helping the deer survive, Mother added. And maybe each of us can find our own way to help others in need, suggested Mother. That is social responsibility. Okay then, for my New Year's resolution, I will resolve to leave Rocco a bowl of kibbles at the wood's edge each and every day, Phil retorted. And Dad and I can build him a doghouse where he can keep warm on those cold nights. Certainly, Rocco was right where he needed to be, in the woods with the deer. But I am sure he will come home to see us. He knows the doggy door is on the back deck, and he can use it to come and go. Now let us bid Rocco a good night and go back inside, said Father. And at day's end, the family, satisfied with knowing that their pet doggie was safe, merrily climbed the stairs to their bedrooms for a good night's sleep. Thank you, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed my story. I loved making it for you.